joining our charity event. It was nice, like being here. And my name's Dennis. My nickname is Super8. And actually, I'm creating tabletop role-playing games, and like, yeah, that's my hobby, and I like doing that. And today I would like to share some of my games with you, and some of my ideas. But I frankly speaking, I'd like to start from the words of gratitude to the audience, like who watching the stream right now, or to frankly everyone who will be like watching this in recording, maybe on YouTube, or I don't know, somewhere else. Thank you so much, like, for your interest for like our Ukrainian tabletop RPG community, and like thank you so much for all the support that you are giving us and that you will give us like in future. We really appreciate that. And as I mentioned, yeah, sure, like we're very excited to be here on this charity event. And yeah, by charity, of course, we mean like donations. And so please, yeah, every donation really matters for us. And I believe that every dollar or euro or wherever is of really real and like absolute help for our country, and we appreciate that. And like, thank you guys. So let's start. Let's start then. And yeah, as I told you, so name's Dennis. I'm 41 years old, and before like we're moving further, I'd like maybe to take a minute and to tell you a little bit about like of myself, about my history in role playing, and how I am like end up doing this tabletop RPGs. And I believe I have done and published around 20 at the moment. And for today, like I've prepared 9 of my like favorite ones to really share it with you. So it really started for me, I believe, somewhere in the middle of 90s. Yeah, 90s. And, some kind of, I believe, some very small company somewhere in our country, I mean regional ones, they really stole some rules from Basic Expert D&D edition, and they pack it as some kind of tabletop-ish boardish role-playing game. It was published in Russian, and the name of the game was somewhere like I would translate it maybe enchanted country, or maybe it would be better like cursed country, right? And we start playing it, and there I really felt this kind of magic of role playing. So it was unimaginable for us. So I was maybe around 13 or 14 years old. We in Ukraine, we never heard this time about like elves and dwarves, so it was like very like weird and gonzo for us, but so excited. And we started role playing, and maybe some years later, I discovered that I have a relative in the US, and I said, "Please send me Dungeons and Dragons," and he did. But together with D&D, I also received Cyberpunk 2020, and that's why that's like my start of role playing. I didn't know English at that time at all, and you can imagine how we play. Yeah, and. Sometime maybe later, I discovered that I'm not that interested in this kind of crunchy gameplay, and all my like all my interest and all my excitement, it came not from playing like game itself. It came from somewhere else. At that time, I thought maybe it came like from the story, right? And I started playing. It's not very correct like definition, but community calls it games like story games, and I started playing that. And I believe Ron Edwards at Forge was like the most influential person for me, and his game Sorcerer, like, yeah, it really changed my mindset, and I went along with that maybe for 10 more years. But in the end, I like understood that it's not my cup of tea. So not crunchy and not story. And I end up like understanding that I love tabletop RPGs, but I couldn't really find the game for myself. And I believe that's when I start like start searching for something new, and I went up to the game of John Harper, excuse me, and the name of the game was Lady Blackbird, right? And that's like I understand what kind of game I like. And as for today, for myself, I like define this kind of game as chamber role playing. What's like I mean by that? So first of all, I like the games that are like very tone heavy, and I really one of I believe there are not that many game designers in Ukraine who do these kind of games. We have like a big projects from very talented guys like Cavalry or Architectica. I believe both these games should be presented or maybe presented on this event. And these are like huge, like full-scale tabletop RPGs, like with setting, and like you can play a big campaign using this kind of rule set, and those like fantastic games. But not my cup of tea, because I like something small scale, something very light in rules, but very heavy in tone, very heavy in theme and atmosphere, because like that's what drives me when I do my role playing, when I run my games. So if you are up to it, if you are interested, and maybe you like understand that like this is like the core what you like fond of most. So yeah, then maybe my today's presentation will be like fruitful, maybe even interested for you. So when I like doing these games, so the design of the rules is, and not the design. I mean, I design these rules only with one purpose: to really support this kind of theme, and really nothing more. And I always try to end up with kind of very small scale stories with very local conflict in some kind of very narrow or close environment. And in the end, I'm trying to pack it so it could be like a very self-contained game. So you need only this small game, maybe 20, 30 pages and nothing more to run it, and to being able to recreate all the atmosphere and tone and theme, all my ideas that I really would like to share as a designer. So as I mentioned, I've prepared, I believe 9 games for today, 9 of my favorite ones. And so let's begin with the first one. And if you will have some questions for me, and maybe about my games, about everything else, please write them like in chat. I will try to read them and address all those questions like in the end of this kind of presentation. So the first game, it's called Atlas, and this one obviously this is my favorite ones, right? And the game I really like, and the game I would really like to play, for example, as a player. It is very like Stephen Kingish, and I will tell you a little bit about this game. So I prepared this slide just for you to understand how I do the games. So when I come with the idea of creating something new, first of all, I'm doing it just like during my weekends, right? So I work pretty a lot. I start in early. I'm and my work late. So my free time is only this kind of weekends, and I can like do game. I can really create one game, develop it fully, like do a layup, design everything, maybe in 1 month, or 3 or 4 weekends. So how I started? So I have some kind of starting idea, and I'm trying to, you see this kind of bullets like Maine, Stephen King, Catherwood, Bean, right? And I'm just trying to do like sketching these bullet ideas on some kind of piece of paper, right? And when I have it, I try to combine to pack it in like one concept. And only then, when I like end up like doing all the theme and like tone or vibe for that, only then I go for rules, because like I can take rule from somewhere, but from other system, but I don't usually do it. I believe from today's game only one will be like inheriting rules from other designer. So what is this game about, right? It is like a game of I name it like a game of true friendship, and paranormal experience. So, like, imagine a small town somewhere in the state of Maine, right? Very, very Stephen Kingish, very with a like vibe of 80s. There is a huge and dense forest, like beautiful lake, maybe some kind of waterfall, maybe they have an energy plant, right? Some kind of Kmart or something like that, and there are like a couple of friends, maybe 16 to 18, 19 years old, right? And while they're having a picnic, something happens, like where very, very bright flashlight, and the beam from the from the other side, we call it, came to our world, and it's like now it lives in the bodies of these guys who like experienced this kind of let me name it acquaintance, right, with this being. And the interesting part that this being is kind of trying to know a little bit alone, a little bit about our world, and it's being chased by some kind of chasers from the other side. So a kind of game about like family relations, where with a lot of teams like dedicated to mental, like maybe physical trauma, game about friendship, love, and like a game about breaking through all the complications, helping this creature to escape, or maybe trying to destroy it. So that's Atlas. If you're interested, yeah, it will be translated in English next month, because I'm like finishing my translation. Please, it is like free. Yeah, every game I made is make is free, of course, and you can grab it on my itch.io. I will share the link in the end. So second game, this one of like my great love, one of I believe my really favorite games I end up doing, and this is a very personal story. So how I end up like doing this game, I always were like I was interested to play in something like no really personal horror, but I wasn't able to really get this kind of experience from game. I tried a lot of World of Darkness games. I love these games. I love VTM, like etc. etc. But it was not like my cup of tea. And in my point of view, in my experience, if you want to really experience this kind of personal horror, you need to play one by one player, and one game master. So it's a game about revenge, about very, very dark and very filthy witchcraft, and about the woman who really has nothing to lose. It like takes place in city of Salem, somewhere in Massachusetts, in our time. And the woman who lived in the city, she had a family, husband, she had kids, but somehow she was accused of being a witch. Her family was her life was really destroyed. Yeah, they did this kind of her town citizens, her friends, her neighbors. They destroyed her life. They really pissed her off, and they throw her out of the city. They accuse her of being a witch. They ruin everything. They take everything away from her. And somehow she approached a real, primordial evil, something very, very dark, and she became a witch. And now she's back. She remembers the names of three persons who she hates the most, and she wants to grab her revenge. So it's a game about what price should we pay to this power, how long could we go chasing our own emotions, our revenge, our willingness to do something bad, to harm people, because there is a whole town, and we will be destroyed. Will everyone survive? Town, of course, will react. So it's kind of very, very dark, very corrupted, very filthy horror, personal horror game. So yeah, it is kind of I would say it's like rated R or M, maybe for mature, right, and something like that. But as you see illustrations, the game use card mechanics, so it's really it's not about like dice. It has like a die roll, of course, in it, but it's more on interpretation. So, for example, this witch, she has like a deck of not deck, a hand of cards that like it dealt to her by game master, right? And as you can see, every card it has like two definitions: one for like silver, one gold. So in the night, she need to use, for example, you can see the card on screen. So subtle deception, right? It's a night definition, and for the day it will be like wear the mask. And the player, she really is, she can really interpret and play the card wherever she wants. So what wear the mask means? So I don't know. Maybe she literally wears some mask. Maybe she used some magic, and maybe she, I don't know. Maybe she rip the face off from some person she just killed, put this like his face on hers and go with it. So wherever. So that's kind of the witchcraft, and yeah, a really dark game. If you want, you're welcome. And yeah, as you can see, I'm mostly like a horror game designer. I believe I should mention it, yeah, in the beginning, but excuse me, my bad. Uh, my bad. I'm mostly doing and trying to do some kind of horror games, mystery games, and when I designed this game, it was, first of all, it was first game of mine. I remastered it, I believe, 1 year ago, but it was first game produced by me for some kind of jam, I believe, for one of the somewhere on itch.io, I don't, or drive through, I don't remember. But the thing is, I changed this kind of pitch for this game. You see, I pitch it now like as probably the scariest game ever, because like I don't have like a lot of attention to my game, frankly speaking, and actually every game was downloaded maybe from 100 to 500 times, so 100 to 500 downloads for the games. This game was downloaded around, I believe, 400 or 500 times, and this game I received like the most feedback from community. So more than maybe 20 or 30 people like write me, and they said this game is, they love this game. It was like very, I was very pleased by that. But more than that, I believe 6 or maybe 7 persons, they told me that the feedback from their play group is this is like the most scariest experience they like had in tabletop RPGs they played. Cult, they did Call of Cthulhu. No, they said this is like the most, the scariest, and it was like wow for me, and I maybe I understand why, because it's this game. This is a game about religion, and basically about like the rite of exorcism, right? It is a game of the woman somewhere in, I believe, in the central US. A game take place in, I believe, in 1960s or 50s. No, I believe it during Korean War, right? Yeah, and the woman, her husband died, and she has a farm like somewhere beneath, like near the cornfield, and she was possessed by a demon. Actually, some local priest, he like wasn't able to succeed at like doing this kind of exorcism for her, and like he write letter to directly to Vatican, because like he was Catholic. And the players here, they take a role of 3 priests who came here from Vatican to really conduct this ritual of exorcism. So this game has a very like it's a very structured game, a lot of prayers inside, and players, they literally do this praying, and they literally do they literally write the words from a real Catholic ritual for like demon exorcism. Yeah, I did like a lot of work to get this kind of rituals, and how you do it, and it is in the game. So it will be translated, I believe, somewhere in June. It's not yet in English, but it will be soon. But yeah, kind of. I believe it could be scary. One of the like my I wouldn't call it like a heartbreaker, but one of the games, and you know I published it somewhere maybe 3 years ago, and I deleted it because I understand that I didn't achieve what I got. It didn't like touch my heart, and like from my perspective, it was not successful, and I did it again and published it. I'm going to publish it one more time, maybe in week or two, almost done now. So I work with like a very talented artist for this project. I call this Tango Aperol. It's very art deco, horror comedy. I see a grammar mistake on the slide. Excuse me for that. Obviously, we will have a lot of grammar here, so it wasn't me. If like, yeah, I did not do a mistake in the word of source. Yeah, so very surrealistic and symbolic experience here. So we have some kind of island, I don't know where, right? Maybe in someone conscience, in someone mind, or in someone dream, and maybe it's just a part of someone insomnia, or maybe sleep, I don't know, madness. And the players like they just wake up there remembering nothing, and it's a game like about exploration of very hell of a surrealistic and very symbolic art deco post-Victorian, society. They are living in this kind of utopia, right? So, and maybe anti-utopia as always. And it's very dark, and it's really like the dark satiric comedy, right? And it's a game about understanding who you are, of revealing your past memories, of trying to like to combine these kind of shards of your fragments of your memories into something to just understand who you are, like who you were, and if you are you willing to like become who you were previously, right, in previous life. So it's kind of very, I believe, Neil Gaiman style story, right, and vibe, but in this symbolic art deco let's say maybe style vibe, I don't know. So game is almost done. Yeah, it is a little bit maybe old school in the in-game design in terms of exploration, not crawling, but very proceduric exploration, and from the one part, and from the second part, it really, that game I told you about, so it really inherits mechanics from a game I really like. The name of the game Dream. So Dream SQ, Dream Apart, maybe you know this game. It shares some idea. I really take some idea from there, not the whole mechanics, but just some ideas. So I would like really to deliver something successful with this project. As you can see, like the artists, I love the art for this one. I believe artists really succeed to bring in this kind of art deco horror comedy experience, right? So let's move on. Let me check the time. Okay, I believe we still have maybe 15 minutes. I don't know. This one is, yeah, it's very like important for me because, as I told you, like if you know Ron Edwards, I believe you should know, or maybe you a very talented game designer, and believe one of the most influential persons in the like our industry or hobby. I mean, from the designer perspective, not of course from the like business, from the mass market or media, from the indie designer's perspective. Like him, maybe Vince Baker, John Harper is also very influential, and Ron, I believe, is one of the first. And as I told you, he had a game. The name of the game is Sorcerer, and it is a game that really like changed my mindset somewhere 23 maybe, yeah, a year ago. And I love this game, but it was written so badly. Explanation was it was a mess. And then Ron, I believe he published the book one more time, trying to explain what he explained previously. And if he succeed, I don't know. From my perspective, I believe not really. And I really wanted to portray this kind of complexity of understanding in this book. But if he do it in explanation, I decided to do it in visual. So this book, it's like PDF. It is in English. it's developed in English, and it is like designed to the way that it is hard to read. Really, it's very demonic, it's very witchy book. So you really need to invest some time just to read this kind of 20 pages. So that's like that idea from the design perspective. Basically, it's a game about like it's very dark horror game about really filthy witchcraft and really insidious demons. It's not based on sorcerer of anyhow, but it shares some idea and is like my words of gratitude to really Ronan to his games to try and to bring sorcerer like game with very rules light formats that should be played and can be played just like that, and yeah, demons, horrific rituals, very disgusting, very weird and very occult, mysterious, game about like having the demons, binding them, feeding them, like following with their, will, and you understand what like kind of what the demon can want. So that's some a little bit crazy stuff, right? And basically, it's a game about codependency, right? So you depend on demon, and demon depends on you because he can just receive anything from this world without you, and you could not have any powers without it. So this kind of coexistence, codependency game, yeah, about like us and about them and about our like coexistence. Uh, I believe I don't know how I end up doing this game. I always wanted to do like a game about Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I know, and of course I'm aware there are like a lot of games like on the market, like Street Fighter RPG, Fight, but no, I don't want. My idea was not to like recreate an experience of a fight in video game when you like punch each other hitting this kind of buttons trying to do some kind of combats. No, it was a game to like bring this universe in some kind of very adventurous, very explorational experience way with very light rule, but still given the player's ability to do this kind of one-on-one fighting duels, doing this kind of fatalities, bring all the characters from the Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, maybe even 4, I believe. Here, pack it like in maybe 20 or 30 pages. This game is kind of using fate dice, but the game does not like inherit anything and take anything from fate rules. No, just dice. So yeah, everything here. If you want to just dive into the like Mortal Kombat universe to play the game about it, oh, got it. It is also now translated by like a translator who are working with. I believe it will be finished maybe 1 month, and I believe the layout included and will be in English. Checking time once more. Okay. So, and this is like very interesting thing. The most like successful game of mine. This game I've developed it in 1 day, and it was downloaded. It's like had the most downloads and the most like positive feedbacks, even more than 6. So yeah. Well, no negative feedbacks for this one. I don't know why. Maybe people love Twin Peaks, or maybe people love David Lynch movies. I do. And I was, the idea was not, this is like, I don't know if it's bad trying to create really Twin Peaks experience in a tabletop RPG. I believe it's not, and if it is so, I believe yeah. So I'm sorry then. Yeah, and game inspired by Twin Peaks take place somewhere in Washington State, of course, and very David Lynchy, like a Twin Peaks-ish, and maybe his other movies like Black Velvet. A lot of beautiful sights here. So mysterious murder in this kind of small town with a population maybe of 5,000 people or something like that. Those people are really, they are like, mourning, they are in pain, they're struggling. And of course, there are a lot of mysteries, very strange and weird people with a very, Stephen maybe Kingish personalities and the type of relationship. trying to help each other, and they try to fuck everything up, and it's fucked up and fucked up again and again and again. So yeah, this kind of this game supports like a lot of players, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10 players is okay, or just one session game. And there is a game, so you here play like actors and like directors. So GM is director and the actors, and they really doing this kind of TV show, taking these characters and like creating the scene. So I'm not into story games and this kind of joint or cooperative storytelling guy, but this game is like one for those. It's really core storytelling, joint storytelling. So creating scenes together and moving further, trying to like push the story, and very like Twin Peaks-ish, very relationship heavy game. So I believe only 2 maybe left, and this one, it was done also very very quickly, because that's my bad, but I like this kind of old Italian erotic comedy movies by like Tinto Brass, and something like that. I understand it could be like it's not maybe for everyone. It's of course like it's not 100% of course sex positive game or something like that. It's again, I will not like invest a lot of time now in this game, because it's like for adult audience. If you like this kind of games, one-on-one experience, GM with one player, if you are like open-minded to doing this kind of role playing, you can like check it out. I did. It was okay for me, I believe. I know some people who really love this game. And I believe the last one that I would like to share with you, and one of my, I believe, not one of my latest and like the recent game, I called it like Red Noir Magic. So how I like really end up with that is it's 1 second. Yeah, it's very, very, Neil Gaiman and Dresden style experience. I know that there is like a Fate accelerated version of Dresden Files, but this is like not that kind of game. So it's very noir tone heavy with very, very this kind of black and white atmosphere, and with this kind of red dresses, cigarette smoke, hard boiled guns, and magic. And it's a game where magic somehow like appeared in our world, and it's break anything. So it was just our world yesterday, and today we have fucking elves, I don't know, magic, maybe somewhere a dragon, I don't know, orcs, witches, vampires, something like that. Some persons and the players characters, they are really like can have magic, and they are able to cast spells, and they are the technology in the same way is fading. So the most prominent technology stopped working. So no computers, almost no computers, no artificial intelligence. Phones are working so, and every day it gets worse and worse. So even lighter stopped working, and guns started. You don't know if the gun will shoot or not, or something will happen, right? But the magic, the magic it is. So very like noirish, very 1930s kind of vibe, but in like our modern urban fantasy experience. And I mean, atmosphere, red dresses, a lot of violence, sex, this kind of poker cards. These games, this game is this kind of mechanics came from the really card game of the Fool. We call it the Fool here in Ukraine, right? So you have like a hand of cards, and you have a list of spells. You can play your cards or play your spell, and that's it. So really deck of poker cards, some dice, really game a game to start up playing right now, just in a minute, if you are interested in playing some kind of, I don't know, maybe dwarf sorcerer or like dark elf, necromancer, right, or something like that, or maybe gnome wizard in black noir with red dresses and red roses, of course, and a lot of cigarette smoke. You can try it. The magic system here is very vague and abstract. It's not like something complicated like Mage the Ascension or something like that. No, we're very broad, where you do whatever you want. Game, very like free form, let me name it. So yeah. And I believe that's it. I believe that's it. If you are interested in like in my games, and you can go to my like website, and no, not my website, itch.io, my like page, that download them for free, try them, play them wherever you want. They are free. And let me check. Do we have some kind of questions? I see one question here. So, did I ever like have a thought selling my games, and why I'm not doing it? You know, mm, I don't really believe that I will be able to make like enough money to do it, to start doing it like as professional, as my like as my job, to being able to invest a lot of time in that. I don't see like even a possibility to change from my current like employment to go in with like professional design. So that's why no. Uh, I'm not planning it. Yeah, I'm even, of course, I'm paying artists for this kind of drawings, for illustration. So it's more like my investment, yeah, and my hobby. I'm just fond of doing it. I love doing it. I like doing it, and I will. So yeah, no, I'm not planning sell the games and doing something like that. Is there a refund for your games? Yeah, sure. If you don't like it, write to me. Maybe I will do some kind of refund for you. Yeah. Have you thought about incorporating Ukrainian culture to your games? Yes. I even have one game. I don't know if like it's appropriate, but I can share some ideas. When the war started, I did a game, and I even ran it one time. It is a game of Russian guisars. They were sent by their like queen, I believe, Catherine, to Ukraine, to Cossacks, to have some kind of peace treaty with them. But they came to Ukrainian village. They like have drank too much, and they lost everything, and now they are like without trousers, trying to like get back, trying to get back home in the very like this kind of dungeon crawlish or hex crawlish Ukrainian cultural, very fairy tale like. Uh, late landscape maybe. I ran this game one time, or like and it was very fun. So it's game like 2 3, even like these Russian soldiers, and really struggle. They can do like nothing here in Ukraine, but in more historical some kind of atmosphere and environment, let me name it, and very like it was a very cultural heavy game that I bring a lot like from our literature and from everything like I can recall from my school experience learning like Ukrainian literature and culture. Yeah. And doing something serious, I don't know. I don't think I'm appropriate person for that. There are a lot like very talented guys here who can do it. My cup of tea is this kind of horror games and everything like that. I don't know. I'm like really fond of our culture. I'm in respect of Ukrainian culture. We have a great language, culture, etc. I don't want to spoil everything because my game is like satiric, black, dark. I'm not current person to like do experiments with such like such a fragile material. question. A lot of your games bring personal horror. Why the genre? There are, I believe there are several, of course, type of players in our hobby. I see mostly two of them. First one is like here, come to hobby, somewhere names people like escapist, try to escape like something maybe negative from our real world to have some kind of more brighter, more happier, maybe more fun, more joy experience while role playing. There are like different type of players like me. I lot like I know I know some people with a similar mindset. I can have good times in my life. I can have something bad, but still, I in games I would like to explore something different. And I've read a lot of like happy end stories. I don't know why, not my cup of tea. I like something like more like Stephen King story, something darker. I don't know, something that the human is a real monster, something like that. And I've always end up with dark stories. And why personal horror? Because for me, to be able to scare as a person, to scare as a player in tabletop RPG, you will not able to do it when you use like a monster, right, or something body horror. No, it really that doesn't work like don't work like that. And if you want to scare someone, you can go like in character very deeply and touch something like very personal, like family, religion, I don't know, food, relationships, faith, and I don't know, maybe internal values, right, of the person, culture, and all this thing. And if you like base your horror experience in your game based on that, I believe it could really reach the goal and touch this kind of scene. So let me check. I don't. I think we do not have any questions. We do not have any questions. We have one more, but if I believe we have some a little bit more time, so I will answer for one question more and maybe refer a little bit to tell a little bit about our community. And so the question is, exorcism, demons, religion, a lot of games, a lot of team parasite. Do I believe about it? Something separating human nature that is evil. Yeah, I believe the most evil persons and beings even created as humans. So I don't think that there is a monster that is more like horrific, more evil that a human being can be. So if we like created this monster in our imagination, we like read about it, that we aware that these things could happen. So we could imagine the thing, and we can do the things that are unimaginable for even for monster. I think that like human is like scariest beast ever, and like games when the human about human horror without monsters and superficial things, I believe those would be like the more horrific ones, the most scariest ones, and something like that. So I believe we have several like minutes left, and we have a lot. We really have a lot going on in the tabletop RPG Ukrainian community, and for everyone here who like live abroad, for foreigners, so we really appreciate it, and we have a lot of very talented guys. First of all, a lot of designers. Some are very talented ones. As I told you, we have like two big projects that I'm aware of. So one is Cavalry by the guy whose name is Alex or Alexander, very talented person. The second game, I know the big project, not into details yet, but I know it's created and it's designed and stylized where in a great way. It's a game called Architectica, so a really big project here. We have some moving forward with a lot of YouTube content, a lot of educational tabletop RPG stuff, streams. We even have like a lot of this kind of tabletop RPG shows. So from like behalf of community, would like to say thank you again to like joining the stream. Yeah, and I think I received one more question. Okay, I will answer. The question is, do you plan to do or have you designed a high fantasy tabletop RPG in medieval setting where there are opportunity for true good with ultimate evil. So do I want to recreate a Lord of the Rings? The question is, as I can understand. Yes, sure. No. I mean, no. I will spoil. I will spoil. Actually, I love Tolkien. And if I will end up with a fantasy game, I will go, some kind of sword and sorcery way, something like Conan-ish or something like Red Sonja, like 1970s or 80s movie style, light rule, high action, very, very adventuristic style game. It will be like something like that. So yeah, I believe that's it. So I believe we will wrap up here then, guys. So we don't have any questions here. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. Please, guys, appreciate all your donation, because like it's a charity festival, charity event. As I've told you, every euro, every dollar matters for Ukraine. And appreciate like your time you invested, and appreciate your like being here and supporting us as a community of role players of Ukraine.